Now, we were talking about the 5th of March 2020, but before we press on with that date, you had told us that when documents are moved from logistics, where the SOPs are received, to your division, a log is made, correct?
Correct. That's correct.
And if you see the logs or the log sheets or specimens of the log sheets that would be used, would you be able to identify that particular form?
Yes, I would.
I'm going to ask that this be, a particular document be shown to the witness. You now have a document in your hand. Could you tell us what is that document?
This is the log sheet that would be used to record the receipt of statements at the tabulation center.
And that document shows who is receiving, and the signature is supposed to be affixed to that, correct?
That's correct.
I'm asking that this be admitted as AG1C, and copies are provided for the commissioners. Now, sir, I'm going to take us back to the 5th of March 2020. During the course of your duties as head of your department, did you generate any reports as the statements of polls were coming in from the different districts?
Yes, I would have had generated reports on instruction to my staff, the responsible officer.
Sure. And did you generate a report at 9:47 on the 5th of March 2020?
Yes, I did.
And if you see that report again, will you be able to identify it?
I would.
Does it bear your initial?
Yes.
A document has been placed in your hand. Can you say whether that is the report generated from your department at 9:47 on the 5th of March 2020?
It is.
Might this be admitted and marked AG1D? 3 copies for the commissioners. Might the document be placed in the witness's hands, please? Yes. So, this is a document which indicates how many statements of polls had been received by your department, correct?
In a sense, yes, yes.
Okay.
Not necessarily received, but what is being processed.
What was being processed by
Right.
your department.
Correct.
And this document is 3 days after the election had closed, correct?
Correct.
And 3 days after the close of polls.
Correct.
Now, is there anything, any observation that you wish to make about the figures on this document?
Yes, well, as you would notice, there are several states outlined above. Outstanding, sent to print, awaiting certification, certified. The total at the very end reflects the total number of statements of poll for both general and regional elections.
Yes.
The total at the very bottom, 4,678. That would be for both general and regional elections. So that would accord to the total number of polling stations times 2. An observation that I have here is that while you would note there were receipts and processing occurring reasonable, I would say reasonable in my view, at a reasonable rate, there is district number 2, which had not had any receipts, and that is understandable. Maybe there was a logistical delay in their delivery to the office. But more particularly, there was a large number of outstanding statements still for district number 4.
In fact, district number 4, 3 days after the close of polls, has the highest number of outstanding statements of polls.
That's correct, yes.
And it would be correct to say that District 4 has fairly good access by road and water.
That is correct.
Out of the 10 districts identified here, can you tell us which of the ones you know would face geographical challenges?
Yes, particularly 1, 7, 8, and 9.
How would their statements of polls be brought in?
For this purpose, by air, by aircraft.
What was the purpose of this document?
This document is a document that I would generate from time to time upon request to guide me as to where we are in the tabulation process. And also it can, well, it guides me. So if I need to raise a query, for example, if you would notice in District 1, there was but one statement outstanding. Of course, I would want to know where that is, and maybe if I need to call someone to get an understanding as to why it's not received, I can, you know, raise a red flag for that. So it guides me.
So when you saw District 4,
Yes.
1,560,
Yes.
what did you do, if anything?
I did not do anything. Reason being is that I would have observed a lot of what I can call commotion in the general area of that returning officer's office. And I knew that, I suspected that that might have been a hindrance to the delivery to the CEO's office.
You mean the commotion might have been a hindrance?
Well, yes, yes. Because when there was commotion, all of the processes seemingly, were paused. There were a lot of persons who tried to leave their stations to observe what is happening. There were a lot of noises. It was not an environment in which one could work comfortably.
But did you understand that commotion was the result of something not going right?
Well, I suspected that. I was not aware what was not going right, or that anything was not going right at all. I simply had that suspicion.
Thank you.
At about 10:45 on the morning of the 5th of March 2020, did you speak to Assistant Commissioner of Police, Mr. Thomas?
Yes, I did.
Where were you when you had this conversation with him?
I was at the tabulation center.
And how did you speak to him, in person or via phone?
Yes, in person. He visited the tabulation center.
What did he say to you?
He informed me that there was a threat to the building in the form of a bomb scare, and he advised me that I should have myself and staff evacuate for our own safety.
And what did you do?
Upon receipt of this information, I immediately instructed all of my staff to evacuate. There was an assigned muster point, save and except for one other staff.
There was a single muster point for the Ashman's building.
As I'm aware, yes.
So,
All of the staff on duty at the time, except for one. That's correct, yes.
And was one person deployed?
Yeah, that's correct.
And was that on instructions from you?
Yes.
so did all the staff on duty at the tabulation center evacuate and go to the muster point at Ashman's building?
Yes.
And you instructed Mr. Paul Passard to stay there?
That's correct, yes.
Why was this?
He was assigned the duties of the administrator for the database and the server, and therefore he had a responsibility to execute a backup of such data.
So he had to stay behind to create the backup. for
That's
you.
correct.
But you know, a bomb doesn't wait on the completion of the backup.
Yes, I do understand that. And as a matter of fact, the instructions were not that it was more of a question to him. Could you stay behind to execute a backup?
Brave man.
If in any way he would have wanted to leave, I would not have hindered that.
Did you attempt to contact the DCEO?
I did.
Were you successful?
No.
Did you attempt to contact the CEO?
Yes.
Were you successful?
No.
Now you asked Mr. Passard to stay back and basically do a backup. Did he stay back and do that backup?
Yes, he did.
And I take it he then came outside of the building?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
That's correct.
Now, did you see the deputy CEO at the muster point at any time after your department evacuated the building?
No, I did not.
Did you see the CEO at any point at the muster point after your department evacuated the building?
No.
At about 11:05 that morning, did you hear from the DCO?
Yes, I did.
And was this by phone?
By phone, yes. She called me.
And what was the nature of that conversation?
She called to inquire whether I could execute or whether I have processed a backup of the data and whether such backup could be stored on a flash drive. I responded affirmatively. She then asked for that flash drive to be handed over to her.
Well, this was a request for preliminary information, correct?
Well, yes, at that stage we had not completed the process, so
Sure. And did she say why? Sorry.
Mr. Giddings,
yes, sir.
that kind of transaction, putting GCOM's information on a flash drive, handing it to an officer, is there a log made of these things?
Well, first of all, that is not a normal procedure. Yes, we do make backups on removable storage media. That is for the purposes of separating it from the physical source, meaning the server, so that in case of a failure, we can restore operations using, a separate device. There is never, sorry, go ahead.
So you consider the request of the DCEO? How did you consider that request?
It was abnormal. It was,
Abnormal.
yes,
But you said you complied with it.
I did. At that point,
Why did you comply with it?
because I felt it was an instruction given to me, and by a superior officer, and I did not want to disobey that instruction at the time.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
I did not want to disobey my superior,
Now, who collected this flash drive?
the DCO herself.
When I asked you about a log record,
Yes, yes,
your answer was this was an abnormal request. But
Yes.
Was a log record made?
it was not. It should have been done in that way, but because of the need to, move quickly, the facility is under threat. And considering that this is my immediate superior, I had foregone that, that stage of logging it. But in hindsight, I should have spent the time doing that, but it did not happen.
And is that flash drive part of GCOM's records now?
No, it's not. As a matter of fact, that flash drive is missing.
But you never expressed to her any concerns at the time.
At the time, no, I did not.
Now, this was just 20 minutes or so after you had been told about the bomb threat by
Yes.
ACP Thomas,
Yes.
AOP Thomas,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So, would it be correct to say, or would it be fair to say that your priority was to make sure that your staff and the server were protected?
That is correct, yes.
Now, you said you handed the flash drive to the DCO. Did the DCO indicate why she wanted a flash drive of this information?
No, she did not. She simply collected that drive and she left.
And are you able to say where she went?
No, I don't know.
Did she did not return it to you thereafter?
No, she did not.
At about 11:20 a.m., sir, you made a certain decision. What was that?
I made a decision to power off and remove the server from the facility for its security and protection.
And were you following certain protocols when you made that decision?
Yes, that is a protocol in place for that.
And is that protocol contained in GCOM's IT Division Disaster Recovery Plan?
That's correct.
And if you see the relevant portions of that plan, will you be able to identify those portions?
Yes, I would.
Might this be shown to the witness? Look at all of the pages to make sure that you know what you're looking at.
Yes.
Yes. I'm asking that this be admitted and marked AG1E. I have 3 copies for the commissioners. One E. Oh yes, you could pass that. Now, is it correct to say that this plan allows for the removal of the server from the premises in certain situations?
That's correct, yes.
And where there is a bomb apparently on the premises, according to this, would it be appropriate to remove the server?
Yes, a bomb threat would be considered an appropriate situation for this to be invoked.
So you took the decision to have the server powered off and removed from the building, correct?
That's correct.
And while you were causing this to happen, did you see the DCEO?
Yes, she entered once again the tabulation center.
And did she speak to you?
Yes, she did.
And did you explain to her what you were doing?
Yes, I did.
And what did she say to you?
She said that I should not proceed and that I should leave the server in its place and evacuate the building.
Did she leave the building?
She did not.
Now, which division of GCOM is considered the custodian of the IT equipment and the data stored in it?
The IT division.
Well, you said she instructed you not to remove it.
Not to remove it, correct.
And what did you do?
I removed it nonetheless.
Was she present when you did that?
She was there. She witnessed me actually walking out of there with it. Yes.
Did she say anything further to you?
Not that I can recall. She was adamant. I think she repeated her instruction to leave it. But I did not respond after that.
So the context was, there was this announcement that there was a bomb
Yes.
in the building. You activated known and established protocol,
Yes.
which permitted you, in an endeavor to protect the server, to remove it from the building.
Yes.
And in that context, while you are concerned about the safety of the information on the server and concerned for its security, you were instructed by your DCEO, for whom you demonstrated considerable respect. That person gave you an order to leave it there
That's correct. Yes.
in the face of the threat.
Yes.
Did the server contain data, or had data been input or stored on that server pertaining to the current tabulation process that was ongoing after the 2nd of March 2020 election?
That's correct, yes.
Having removed the server, did you secure it?
Yes, I did.
And you secured it in your vehicle,
That's correct.
and it remained in the parking lot of Ashman's,
Yes, it did.
and that parking lot is fenced,
Fenced?
and was there security personnel there?
Yes, they were.
And were there surveillance cameras
Yes,
for
there
that
was.
parking lot?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. Now, having done that, how did you leave Ashman's?
I proceeded to the muster point on foot.
Okay. Now, having told you not to remove the server, did the DCEO give you any reason as to why she didn't want you to remove the server when there was a bomb threat?
No, there was no reason proffered.
And did she give you any reason as to why she wanted you to act contrary to the protocols in your disaster recovery plan?
No.
But you didn't raise that, did you?
I did not.
You did not raise it.
No. I didn't think there was enough time to have a conversation on that matter, given the urgency and the threat.
Did you think the threat was fake?
No, I had no reason to believe that.
At shortly before midday on that day, did you receive a call from the DCEO?
Yes,
And did she give you certain instructions?
she did.
What were those instructions?
Return the server and power it back on.
Now, at that point, let me see. Let me get my timelines correct here. So this is basically 36 minutes after you had taken the decision to have the server powered off, correct?
Yes, correct.
How long did it take you to have the server powered off and stored where it could be under surveillance?
I can't recall the quantum of time, but it was done relatively quickly.
Okay, well, 5 minutes, 10
About 5 minutes or so.
minutes? Sure.
Yes.
So in about half an hour after that is done, you get a phone call from the DCEO asking you to bring the server back into the building.
Yes, correct.
And did the DCEO advise you at that point whether the building was secure?
No, as a matter of fact, I inquired whether the building was clear of the threat. She repeated her instruction.
Did she tell you whether there was information that the building was
No.
cleared?
No.
There was no response to that.
No response. It was the instruction was repeated, and then the call ended.
Did you comply with that instruction?
No, I did not comply. I did not comply, no.
Okay. Well, did you remain at the muster point?
Shortly thereafter, I observed evacuees re-entering the building, and I decided to instruct the staff, the staff under my command, to remain in position at the muster point while I re-entered the facility in an effort to ascertain whether it was clear of a threat. The reason why I did this it was because I saw persons re-entering, and I thought that maybe they would have gotten some information that there was clearance. So I returned to the building.
Okay. And did you return to the tabulation center?
I was headed there, yes.
Yes.
That was my destination.
And as you were going towards the tabulation center, did you observe anyone in the building?
Yes, there were quite a few persons there present in the building.
And did you see the DCO?
I did see the DCO.
And did the DCO speak to you?
Yes, she did.
What did she say?
Return the server.
Was that all she said?
I am trying to, may I review the notes to see
Certainly.
if I recorded
Of
it?
course, yes. Would you look at paragraph 42?
Yes, I couldn't recall exactly.
Do you have enough room there?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. I did, after receiving the instruction once again, I inquired whether the building was clear of a threat, to which I received, again, no response. As a matter of fact, she proceeded to walk away.
Okay. And did you ask the chairman for guidance on the matter?
Yes, the chairman was present. I sought her guidance on the matter, which she did indicate to me that I should return to the building with the server and my staff.
Okay.
I took that to mean that she had information that the building was clear.
And did you comply with that instruction?
I
you
did.
cause your staff and the server
Yes, I did.
to be brought back to the building?
That's correct, yes.
Now, when your staff came back to the tabulation center and I take it the server was powered back up and so on,
Yes, yes.
did you all resume the tabulation process?
No, we were preparing for its resumption.
And what happened?
The DCO entered the tabulation center and called out to all staff to give her their attention, where she announced that due to a breach of procedures, I may not be quoting verbatim here what was exactly said, but due to a breach of procedures, the process would be halted.
Okay, I want you to look at your paragraph 44.
Yes.
And just...
There was a breach.
No, don't
Oh,
read it out
sorry.
loud. Just refresh your memory quietly, please.
Yes.
Right. Are you now able to assist us as to what the DCO said?
Yes. She informed the staff that there was a breach of procedure, of protocol, against the instructions of the Secretariat, and that the server was removed from the facility and the process will therefore be halted.
Now, sorry.
Let me, let me ask you, Mr. Giddings. Well, let me put it this way. The DCEO is not the Secretariat of the Guyana Elections Commission.
I agree.
The only instruction, request, directive that you got for the return of the server was from the DCEO.
That's correct, yes.
Did the DCEO ever tell you that there has been a decision of the Secretariat that you must return the server immediately?
No.
But you did say the chairman also, when you turned to her for guidance, instruct you to return the server.
Yes, she did. Yes.
With which you comply.
I did. Yes, I did.
So there could not have been a breach of protocol in respect of your interaction with the chairman, because the chairman advised return it.
Yes, I
And
took.
you did.
Yes, I took that to mean that the chairman had information that the building was clear and
Yes.
it was safe for us to return.
Understood.
Now, having received the DCO's instructions, essentially for your department or division to be shut down,
Yes.
what occurred?
She advised the staff to go home.
All the staff in the tabulation center?
All the staff, including myself. She
Yeah.
advised everyone to leave and go home because the process was halted.
Advise or instruct you?
I would say it is an instruction. I felt it to be an instruction.
And did the staff at the tabulation center comply?
Yes, they did.
Did you comply?
I did not.
And did your second in command
No,
comply? The database administrator,
Right.
did he comply?
He did not.
And what was the reason for your non-compliance at that point?
Because after I would have observed the state of the center, we would have had statements of poll on the floor, not literally on the floor, but in process or in various areas of the center. And I don't think that I could have simply walked out, knowing that those documents were signed for by staff under my command and were not signed out to where it was intended to go. So I felt the need to stay behind and organize and categorize and secure those documents, inclusive of the equipment and the data, the server, so that I could leave the place in a state where I had no more involvement and I was safe in my mind that these things were secure. Because these are statements of poll, and data from statements of poll.
Yes, and they were of national importance.
National importance, critical importance.
Yes.
Yes.
So were you able to do that? Were you able to secure the statements of polls from your division?
Yes, I was. Myself and Mr. Passad remained behind to do that. And we arrived, yes, we were. We were able to complete that process.
And how did you seek to secure the server?
The server, at the time, I knew I could not have removed the server from the facility because I would be departing that facility. And there was no convenient place that was secure enough to hold that server. So at that point, I realized that the server would have had to remain in the facility. So what I did, given the mechanisms available to me, I placed tape around the server, masking tape to be exact, where I made marks that extended from beyond the tape onto the server. And this is in an effort to, if anybody were to try to tamper or remove any hardware from within that server or even power it on, it would have been difficult for them to realign those marks having removed the tape. I did that with the server, and I also packaged and categorized the remaining statements and other documents that were in my possession at the time.
Okay. Now I just want to take you back a bit.
Sure.
to the best of your knowledge, while that server was out of the building, had it been powered up or used by anyone?
No, it could not have been.
And did you take photographs of the server?
I took photographs of the server after the taping process that I just explained,
Yes.
before I left the facility.
Okay. And if you see those photographs again, you'll be able, you took them with what?
My phone.
Okay. And if you see printouts of those photographs, will you be able to recognize them?
Yes, I would.
I'm asking that these two printouts be shown to the witness. You now have two documents in your hand, sir. Are those printouts of the photographs which you took?
Yes, they are.
I'm asking that these be admitted as AG1F. And 3 copies are here for the commissioners.
No, AG1.
One F as a bundle, I suppose. And what is depicted here?
This is 2 pictures of the server after it was taped, as I explained earlier.
And these markings that we see on the masking tape are your markings?
That's correct, yes.
Thank you. Now, you had given us some specimens of log sheets earlier, which you said formed part of the record of your department. Did you also secure those?
I did.
And your verification reports, did you
Yes.
secure those?
Yes, I did.
And all of the, I suppose, paper and electronic material in your department, did you take steps to secure those?
Yes, I secured everything that I considered important. Things like stationery supplies and so on, I did not treat with.
While you were doing this, did you receive a telephone call?
I did, yes.
From whom?
The DCEO. I actually did not receive a call to my device, to my cellular. The database administrator who was there with me at the time received a call from on his mobile device and then indicated to me that the DCEO would like to speak to me.
Now, had you spoken to the DCO by phone before?
Yes, I have.
Were you familiar with her voice?
Yes, I am.
And about what time was this call put through to you?
I can't recall at this point.
Would it be about 6:15 that evening?
Seems about accurate, yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Would you like to refresh your memory? Quick look at paragraph 49.
Yes.
Now, could you tell us what was the conversation which ensued on the telephone between yourself and the DCO?
Sure. Immediately she asked me, Anil, are you doing something unlawful with the SOPs? To which I responded, no. That I'm simply assembling them so that I can have them sent to her office. She responded very aggressively in shouting, no, 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 no. you are to leave everything there and evacuate and leave the center. Sorry, leave the center. And that the chief accountant will come and lock up the facility. And the call ended immediately after that.
Well, having asked you if you were doing something unlawful with the SOPs, did she tell you what she thought you were doing that was unlawful?
At the time, she did not tell me what I was doing.
That could be unlawful.
That could be unlawful. At that time, no.
So, having had this conversation, what did you then do?
At that point, I was almost complete in organizing and securing everything. So I completed that process. And then myself and the DBA would have exited the facility.
In preparation for the March 2nd, 2020 elections, do you know, as part of the preparation team, whether security cameras had been installed in and around Ashman's building?
Yes, they were.
And can you now recall who had done the installation?
I don't know who they were, but they were not GCOM personnel. Seemingly from a private company.
Do you know whether that footage is now available?
No,
You don't know.
no.
The tabulation center itself had how many cameras, how many surveillance cameras?
The tabulation center had 17 cameras. 17.
And do you know how many had been placed in the office of the returning officer?
I hadn't observed any there.
Now I'm going to take you to the 6th of March 2020 at about 8 a.m. Did you go to Ashman's building?
Yes, I did.
And what observations did you make at that time?
The facility was heavily cordoned. There were observers and representatives of various political parties around the building, and I observed that the building was shut tightly,
Okay.
secured.
Now, could I just ask you this though? During that day when the DCEO was telling you to leave the building and so on, did the CEO contact you at all?
No, no.
So on the 6th of March, did you try to contact the CEO when you saw the building shut down and everybody outside?
Yes, I did.
Did you reach him?
I did not.
And having failed to do so, did you go anywhere?
Yes, I returned to my office, which is located on High on Cowan Street, Kingston.
Now I'm going to take you to the 23rd of March 2020. Did you receive certain instructions on that day?
Yes, I did.
And as a result, did you go to Ashman's building?
That's correct, yes.
During the period, well, it would be the 6th of March when you were asked to leave?
No, on the
Fifth,
5th, the
yes.
5th, yes.
5th of March to the 23rd, had you had access to the inside of Ashman's building?
No,
When you went to Ashman's building on the 23rd of March, did you go to the tabulation center?
yes,
And did you make any observations?
yes.
Can you tell us what you observed?
I had observed that several items were missing.
And did you do anything as a result?
Yes, I retrieved the remainder of the items that were there. And when I returned to the headquarters, I wrote to the CEO informing him of my observations.
Mr. Gidding,
Yes, sir.
items like
There,
Perhaps I could assist, if the chair would permit me. Now, you have a copy of that document that you sent to the commissioner,
to the CEO.
to the CEO, I beg your pardon.
Yes, I do.
And if you see it again, will you be able to identify it?
Yes.
Might this document be shown to the witness, please? Is that a copy of the document you sent to the CEO?
Yes, it is.
Might this be admitted and marked AG1G? And I have 3 copies for the commissioners. Now, so that report basically sets out what was missing.
Yes, correct.
Having sent it to the CEO, did you get a response?
No response was given.
Did you get a response, or did you have any further communication with the DCEO?
No.
In your view, Mr. Giddings, these missing items should have been considered a serious occurrence.
Yes.
you say you got no response?
No response. No response.
Did you hand the CEO this letter? Hand delivered?
It was hand delivered, not personally by me, but my staff. There's a log of that. There should be a log. There should be a log of receipt of that memo. Yes.
And these are my questions for this witness.
Well, earlier today, you said that your deputy, I think,
Yes.
advised you that the CEO wanted a report of the results of the tabulation up to that point, up to a
Correct.
particular point.
Correct.
Did you consider that abnormal?
No, I did not. At the
That was
time.
not abnormal.
No. Just as I frequently generate reports as to my progress for my own analyzing, I thought maybe that was at the time, for his analysis as to where, what he might have sought the process to be at the moment.
Now, you told us that there were 17 cameras in the tabulation center.
That's correct, yes.
Well, my basic knowledge tells me that a camera requires a monitor.
Well, yes. Well, no, not necessarily. Cameras can be installed and connected to some central point for recording of that footage.
Well, what was the system there? Were there monitors, or was there
Well,
continuous recording?
I am not aware where the wires leading from those cameras led to. I'm not
You don't know
sure.
if there were monitors.
No, I don't know.
I see. Choate, could I ask you, we had a video shown where GCOM employees had yellow envelopes in their hands. Some were opening and some were sealing. Could this witness be shown that video?
Certainly. I am just trying to see. Yes,
Yes, please.
I think it would be important. We're just trying to have the gentleman responsible to come back into the room.
No, that was when they were the envelopes.
Yes, but Shuman said he didn't know what was happening. Shuman didn't know what was
Started counting it?
Keep an eye on that guy over there, Dave. Keep an eye on that guy over there.
Officers arriving or actually seated there with their respective packages from the polling stations that they have responsibility over.
But you don't know what they're doing.
No, as to what they're exactly doing, I noticed that young lady that is on screen, she was flipping through them. I did observe someone opening one at some point in the back, but I am not sure what they could have possibly been doing.
But there's nothing unusual about what you're seeing.
Well, the person that, I don't know if maybe we can play back the part where I can see the gentleman behind the young lady in the foreground.
Started counting it?
So I think yes, that is clearly sealing of an envelope from that last frame. I don't know why a DRO would have the need to go into an envelope and reopen an envelope and reseal an envelope. I cannot say whether those packages are indeed and in fact the returning officer's package or the CEO's package. So I would not venture to that direction. But I do know that those are DROs, and it seems to me that they have their respective packages awaiting what I can assume to be delivery to the RO. Thank you.
Might he be relieved?
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir.